Okay, class, today we're going to be going over growth and decay. Now, the general formula that's shown here can be used to describe the quantities that increase or decrease at a certain percentage next year, or certain percentage rate each year. So A0 being the original amount, R being the annual percentage rate of increase or decrease, and T being the time in years, and Y of T being the amount after T years. So following this formula, complete the equations and tables below to answer the following questions. So looking at number one, right now the population of our town is around 25,000. Now, if the number of citizens are projected to increase about 8% every year, what will the population be in 4 years? So from what we've learned this week already, you know that 25,000 is my start amount, right? So that would be my A. And you know that 8% is my change amount, which would be my B. But how would I write that since the whole 25,000 is going to increase? That's correct. I would write that as 25,000 and then 1.08 to the T power. So using that, I can plug that into my Y equals, and at 0 years, it's always going to be what? Your A, so it's going to be 25,000, and then in 1 year, I would have 27,000, 2 years, 29,160, 3 years, 31,493, and then what they asked me, which was 4 years, I would have 34,012. That's correct. Now, I want you to take a minute and tell me what your A and B value are for number 2. Okay, so what you should have gotten is, for my A value, you should have gotten what? That's correct, 60,000. Now, what will my B value be in this instance? Because I'm depreciating at a rate of 18%, how much of that value would I have left of the 100%? That's correct, 82%. That's what you should have used there. So at 0 year, I'm always at my starting point, so I'm at 60,000. After 1 year, it's depreciated so that my value is now 49,200. After 2 years, I have 40,344. This is just like the car example we did yesterday or earlier today. So make sure you understand that it's depreciated in value just like the car did. Then I would have 33,082. And then at 4 years, I would have 27,127. Make sure if you're confused on anything, you jot those questions down so that you can ask me that question when I see you again. Okay, class, turn your paper over. You'll see that this example is a little bit different. Now, what happens is a bank can choose the way that it pays you your interest. So the way that you have to calculate the interest is a little bit different. So if you read, the general formula can be used to describe quantities that increase at a certain percentage rate each year. But in finance, this increase is what we refer to as interest. Now, that when banks handle your loans or your investments, they don't simply apply it once every year. They can apply it monthly or quarterly. So they have a little leniency as to when they have to apply that. So the formula we have to use is a little bit different. So here we have a $6,000 investment that's invested at a 4% annual interest rate for 5 years. So how would that investment change if part of the interest is given ahead of time? So looking at the first example we have here, this is what we did on the other side of the paper. Then we know that, okay, at 0 years it's 6,000, and a year it's 6,240, so on and so forth. Now that's if it's done once a year. Now how would that change if it's done 4 times a year? So now my N in this formula would be equal to what? That's correct, it would be 4. So my equation would change to my A, my initial value being $6,000. And now I'm going to have my 1 plus, the same as the other one, 0.4. But now I got to divide that up over 4 years. And then the time that I'm getting that is, not 4 years, 4 times a year, and the time I'm getting that is 4 times a year. So that's going to change our equation a little bit. So this is what we get if we do it every 4 years. So what do you predict would happen based on these numbers if you were to get this monthly? Do you think you would get more or less? Those of you that said more are correct. Okay, class. Now, I want you to stop there. There's a lot more of this sheet. I want you to go ahead and see if you can calculate C if we do the interest is given weekly, and then if the interest is done daily. Go ahead and try to calculate that based upon the formula. And then we'll start with page 3 in class tomorrow. Have a good night.